understand why school has to start at 7 in the fucking morning. Like, what do you think I am? A fucking rooster? Oh, cock-a-doodle-doo. More like, fuck you. And then teachers come in all, come on, you guys, you gotta pick up the energy. What's going on? Oh, I don't know, Barbara. Maybe it's because it's fucking 7 in the morning? Like, why are you expecting me to solve a triangle? Bitch, you're built like a triangle. Why don't you do it?
I was in band at the time, and the classroom phone rang, and the teacher went and he answered the phone. He got really serious. He got this really concerned, shocked look on his face, and he hung it up and he turned to us and he said, everybody sit down, be quiet, the bell's going to ring in a couple minutes, you're going to stay seated. And then he went over to the doors and he locked them. First, some of us were like, well, is it a bomb threat? Because we used to get bomb threats all the time, but then we realized that doesn't make sense because when we get a bomb threat, they evacuate us. And then we're like, is there some type of killer in the school? Is there a weather alert? The teacher wouldn't answer any questions. He was told not to. And the bell rang. We all stayed seated and we sat there for a really, really long time. And then the next bell rang, which means a whole other class period had passed. And still he said, stay seated. And I can't tell you how long we were trapped in this room and nobody was telling us what was going on.
How we have one hand that knows how to do everything, and then we have another hand that just sits there like, I don't know how to use a pencil. Stupid hand.
Packing my lunch, my grandpa asked me what I was eating, so I told him I was gonna eat a sandwich, apples and Takis. He asked what Takis were and I said they were spicy chips. He asked to try one, but my grandma told me that if I gave him a Taki I would regret it. I gave him one anyway. When he bit the Taki he jumped 65 feet in the air screaming. He was asking for milk and we gave him milk, but we forgot he was also lactose intolerant. While he was drinking the milk he ran out of the room and tripped on our pet pussy. He started farting and it sounded like we lived next to NASA when a rocket is about to launch. He let out the longest sloppy gloppy bloppy moppy noppy copy loppy floppy sloppy. When he fell I heard his back crackle McFrackle tackle. His back cracked, the cat attacked, roaches get attract, he broke his back, his shit turned abstract, he fell on the floor and couldn't get up no more, he was very sore, he looked like a dead boar. The pussy went bonker yonker plonker knocker conkers. We rushed him to the hospital and found out he died from a ruptured ribcage and explosive diarrhea. We also found out he had lymphedema, type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, bowel cancer, the bubonic plague, the coronavirus, the Spanish flu, tuberculosis, malaria, AIDS, shitworm, measles and polio. One time me and my friend Sean were having a Takis mukbang in history. Then our wrinkly ass substitute teacher told us we weren't allowed to eat. Like, bitch, you're the sub, how the fuck you gonna tell us the classroom rules when this ain't even your class? Anyways, we put the Takis away and a few minutes later I wasn't feeling so good and I asked to go to the bathroom. Mr. Raman said wait until Justin comes back. Like, motherfucker, Justin ain't gonna come back, that bean takes forever in the bathroom. So I sat back down and held it in. A few minutes later Justin came back and I sprinted and took the pass. Then it was too late. I farted and oh my god, it smelled so bad the entire class passed out. I ran into the hall to get to the bathroom and shit was pouring out of my ass like a garden hose. Then the school went on lockdown, but I said fuck it and went to the bathroom to clean up my shit. While I was in the bathroom the police came into the spot in the hall where I shitted. Turns out my shit was so loud they thought there was a shooter in the school and I got admitted into Takis rehab.
When I was little, I found my mom's credit card. And, being a 6-year-old, I saw my mom putting the credit card on her phone and I knew how she did it. So, I decided that I was going to put it on my phone. So, I put it on my phone and I was downloading Roblox because I thought, hey, I can play with my friends here. That day, I spent $2,000 worth of freaking money on Robux. Let's just say, a lot of my friends thought I was really cool and rich. When my mom found out, I hid from her for seriously like a day, and then once I got in there, she wasn't mad, she just said I was Captain Robux.
Grade. Slime was really popular. It was so popular to the point everyone was making it and people would trade their slimes all the time. I was one of those people. I also did YouTube videos and some of the kids from my school would watch them. I basically did slime tutorials and I would sell my slimes for 50 cents. One time I got a comment from this girl named Augusty Musty. She commented on my video saying how she wanted to buy the slime I made. I said yes, of course. The next day at recess we both met behind the basketball courts. I brought the slime she asked for and told her that it would cost 50 cents. This bitch said she only brought a quarter. She kept demanding me to give her the slime for a quarter, so I had enough. I slapped that hoe in the head with the slime and the slime got stuck in her hair. I started putting more slime in her hair. Then when it was all in there I yanked the slime out. I swear I ripped so much hair out of her head that she looked like an egg. Her hair came out in clumps and it looked like she had lice and fleas. I pulled her hair so hard it made her shart. She pulled the most clumpy, Donald Trumpy, very lumpy, made her grumpy, Humpty Dumpty, smelled like a dumpy, made roads bumpy, made me thinky, it smelled stinky, made the boys winky, marker inky, wanna linky, I ran far, hit her with a car, went to the bar, twinkle twinkle little star, gave her scars, smoked cigars, sounded like a jaguar, went to Mars, shit I have ever seen. She went to the hospital and she turned out to have bowel cancer.
That has McDonald's Wi-Fi and has absolutely trash internet. And I'm just convinced that their router is built like this, bro. They legit lag out of every game they play, and they just get off due to pure frustration. And if they happen to be lucky and stay in the game, they'd be playing on 4,000 ping and manage to get stuck underground.
One time my mom took me to a baseball game and I asked her if I could get some cotton candy. She said no. You are already fat. I was so upset I was ready to punch her. A few minutes later a player hit the baseball and it came flying at us. I ducked and it hit my mom right in the face. I started laughing and said ha 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 ha, that's karma bitch for not buying me the cotton candy. I noticed we were on the Jumbotron, so I started shaking my juicy thick ass and screaming. The medical people helped my mom and then we got thrown out. My mom was so mad. When we were in the car I was still mad about the cotton candy thing. I saw a piece of paper and a pen and wrote "Help me, I'm being kidnapped" and held it up to the window.
If the pizza box is square, if the pizza is a circle, and the slice is a triangle.
Everything 10 times louder at night. It could be 2 a.m. and I would want to get a snack. And the minute I get out of bed, I then open the door and it sounds like the freaking THX sound effect. Wait, what the? Oh, I'm trying so hard not to wake anybody up. And the biggest challenge is when I see my dad sleeping in the living room. I literally have to move with the sound of his snores. Yeah, Stealth 100.
That the word wrong is spelled wrong in the dictionary. Why would they spell it wrong in the dictionary? Because the correct spelling of the word wrong is wrong. And the wrong spelling of the spelling wrong wouldn't be wrong. That's why it is spelled wrong in the dictionary.
In class when our teacher announced the new Australian exchange student. Her name was Tina Tim Tam. She walked into class wearing a bucket hat while holding a fishing rod. She then pulled out a bag of shrimp from her pouch and said they're fresh off the Barbie. Our teacher named Miss Snag announced a field trip to the Outback, and Tina Tim Tam started shoving spoonfuls of Milo up her ass, then wiping it with a slice of fairy bread. We got on the bus and Tina Tim Tam started watching The Real Housewives of Melbourne while eating a box of fish and chips. We arrived to the Outback and Tina Tim Tam said fair dinkum and began walking over to a prohibited bush. Miss Snag was doing a head count when she realized one student was missing, and I told her Tina Tim Tam walked into the prohibited area. Miss Snag put her finger in a jar of Vegemite, then shoved her finger up her ass, then wiped her finger on a slice of bread and started eating it in fear. We rushed over to the prohibited bush and saw a sign that said beware, brown snakes live here, and Miss Snag started crushing beer cans on her head. We ran into the snake pit and saw Tina Tim Tam naked on the floor with half her body inside of a snake. Miss Snag started fisting the snake to get it to stop eating Tina, and it spat her out on the sand and slithered away. The snake had apparently bitten Tina Tim Tam's asshole, so Miss Snag arched Tina's back and began sucking the venom out. The trip was cut short and we all called our teacher ass sucker Snag the whole right back, and it turns out the snake had bowel cancer. Had a crush on this guy named Austin. He was sexy and just my type, football player, blonde hair, blue eyes, etc. I really wanted to start talking to him, but first I went through his socials to see what he likes so I can get an idea of his personality, and I found out he was country and liked country girls. So I decided to give myself a makeover. I ordered some very authentic Alabama clothes straight from the South and bleached my hair until it was fried just like the girls he follows. I looked really bad, but at least I'll be getting some country eggplant. The next day at school I decided to approach him during physics class because we had to work in groups of 5 and it worked out perfectly. We started talking and got to know each other a little bit, and then we started talking daily. We became pretty close friends. A month passes by and homecoming was coming up soon, so I asked if he was gonna go and he said he was, so I thought it would be perfect to confess my feelings that night. Then skip to the night of homecoming. I put on my favorite dress and heels and made sure I looked good. I arrived to the school and meet up with my friends to wait for Austin. An hour passed by and I got worried, so I walked to the bathroom to call him. I opened the door to see my crush doing it with his mom in the girls' bathroom at school. I went off on him for bullying me behind my back and for also ditching me at homecoming. I ran away crying. It turns out he was in love with his mom instead. I went outside to calm down and I saw my economics teacher Mr. Smith walk over to me. He asked me what was wrong and I told him the whole story and he comforted me. We ditched homecoming and went to his house to Netflix and chill. The next week at school we had an assembly because there were rumors about a student going out with a teacher and I was like, oh shit. Then the whole SWAT team barged into the gym and arrested Mr. Smith cause there was evidence that we streamed and creamed all over his bedroom, and now I'm in DILF rehab.